Congressman Chip Roy is a member of the Rules and Judiciary Committees and policy chair for the House Freedom Caucus. Congressman Roy, thank you very much. Good to have you here this morning. So what did you make of Hunter Biden's rather lengthy statement about his addiction, his finances, and what he's calling a MAGA attempt to ridicule him and his family?
Yeah, well, great to be on, Martha. I mean, first of all, something like 65 to 68% of the American people want to know exactly what we want to know, which is the truth, because they recognize that there's criminal, that is legal concerns here, as well as ethical concerns. And so what we want to know is, what did President Biden know, and what was his involvement in the very clear enrichment of his family? Hunter Biden at the center of it, and his entire family, through multiple shell corporations over the last 6, 7, 8 years, going back to the time when he was vice president. What did he know? Has he lied about it? And have they engaged in obstruction of justice? What you saw today from Hunter Biden was more obstruction. The same obstruction that we've seen out of the Department of Justice, where they have limited the ability of witnesses to testify, telling them that they can't speak about certain things. They can't speak about daddy's involvement. They can't speak about whether or not the tax returns in 2014 and 15 were slow-walked intentionally to let the statute of limitations run. They can't speak about the truth about the extent to which DOJ has stonewalled all of the witnesses from being able to testify. That's the truth. And now Hunter Biden comes up, thumbs his nose at the process, goes over and gives a press conference without coming and honoring the request of the House of Representatives to have him come in and do a deposition and appear before the committee. This is going to continue. We will have a vote today on the impeachment inquiry, which is well justified, that we need to seek evidence wherever it may lead about the corruption of this president, which is very clear. Millions of dollars enriching Hunter Biden, peddling the family name. We know that's what happened. Daddy's brand, the Biden brand, peddling it in order to enrich his family. That's wrong, and it's corrupt.
I mean, that was the testimony that we heard from Devin Archer, who was one of the inner circle directly involved in all of this business. He said the brand was the Biden name. And you know, you watch Hunter Biden out there, it seems to me as if he kind of got what he wanted. He wanted a public testimony moment. This no doubt would have been his opening statement if these had been an open hearings. But what we didn't get was to watch Republicans and Democrats question him in this environment. So do you think it was a mistake to not allow him the public hearing that he asked for? And do you think you're ever going to get him behind closed doors to testify now?
Well, the procedures we put in place for a reason, for all of our witnesses to come forth and have to go through and have a deposition. Then you can have hearings when you get to the next step. Yep. But it's important to note that on the steps of the Capitol, he said an important word. He said his dad didn't have any involvement financially.
That's right.
Right? He didn't say it was a blanket, that he wasn't involved. That's really important. Hunter Biden is basically an ongoing domino fall of stupid decisions and stupid statements. And we're seeing that right here, going to the Capitol and saying his dad wasn't involved in financial dealings. Yeah. We'll see if that's true, but that is a big tell to me. We all know that his dad was involved in enriching Hunter. We all know that foreign entities were sending millions of dollars to them. We know from whistleblower testimony that they were slow walking the IRS from being able to go after the investigation in 2014 and 2015. We know these things to be true, so we're going to have an inquiry today. We'll seek the truth. We've been having to do all of the work the Department of Justice refuses to do. And look, we can also hold him in contempt if that's what we need to do in the House of Representatives, and then see where this process goes. But the sweetheart deal that he got from a judge, and then that judge got that he got from DOJ, and then that judge slapped down the deal. Now we're seeing the truth. Now you've got an indictment where they dance around, refusing to actually go after Joe Biden in those years because they're trying to put this all onto Hunter. But the truth is going to come out to the American people that this is a broad corruption involving the entire Biden family.
Well, it is significant, as you mentioned, Congressman, that he said my dad was not involved in the financial part of any of my businesses, because if people just roll back their memory bank, they remember President Biden on the debate stage saying, my son isn't involved in any foreign businesses and I have nothing to do with any of his businesses. Then it became I'm not in business with my son, right? Now it's my dad was not financially involved in business, because we've seen all of these direct direct interactions and the phone calls and the shakedown attempt. My dad's sitting right next to me right now.
Yep.
You better send us the money to the Chinese company. I just want to show you one headline here from the Washington Post editorial board. They say the Hunter Biden indictment is sound. The Joe Biden impeachment inquiry is not. There is a lot of effort to say that your side of this investigation has not proven any link between the president and this Hunter Biden indictment, which is a tax evasion charge primarily at this point, and the gun charge. What would you say to the Washington Post editorialists?
Well, first of all, I think the Washington Post doth protest too much with respect to what our case is, right? We've had no support out of the Department of Justice. We've had to do all the work through the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee. But I would also point to the obstruction that I've laid out with respect to the DOJ, the obstruction in which we've not been able to get witnesses to come forward because of direct push down from DOJ and Merrick Garland in the White House. But also note the 82,000 emails, right, that are involving a pseudonym that we believe that the president was using when he was vice president, that had 29,000 exchanges with the Hunter Biden, with the Biden family businesses. And that indicates some problems. We've only gotten 14 of those. We're getting stonewalled and we're getting obstruction, which is something we've got to pursue. And to them, I would say, look, the only reason this indictment is sound is because a judge stood in front of the Department of Justice, which tried to cut a sweetheart deal. Yeah. So they're ignoring it on purpose. And I want to say a shout out to Mike Johnson, our speaker, for proceeding with this, moving it to the floor. I hope we'll pass it today. Every Republican should support this on the floor of the House, and Mike Johnson should be commended for doing that. We disagree on a few things like the NDA and FISA right now, but this is an important thing. And him standing up yesterday on Ukraine and saying we need to secure our border first was also really important.
Okay, we're going to dig into more of the politics on this in just a moment and where that impeachment effort might lead. And the political ramifications of it. But I want to thank you, Chip Roy, for being with us today. Congressman, thank you very much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.